Hello folks and welcome to number 23. So we're back, we've been here before in Donner Park. Grey day but it's quite nice. So I'm going to go through just as normal the short form, long form. The short form I'm going to take it from where we left last week, which was the push, and I'm going to take you through the waving hands like clouds, cloud hand section. And for the long form we're going to repeat what we did the last time. Remember, there was a bit that I couldn't use, so I'm just going to go over the same section again. Okay, so we'll make a start with short form. So here's where we left off last week. You remember your bow stance. Okay, so facing this way, and we were in the push position. Okay, so what we're going to do here is to get into the cloud hands, we're going to go through a move called single whip, and then we're going to do the cloud hand section. So to get into single whip, looking at the root, we're sitting back and turning, bringing this foot round so you're hand toed again. We sit back into this, do an empty stance, step in and out, and then into your bow stance on the other side. The foot doesn't come round as far in single whip as it would in your normal bow stance, just a bit. So if you were sort of looking at that from another angle, from the push, if I do the push facing this way, sit back, turn, getting the root, keeping the root on the left, back into the right, and an empty stance, and from there in, out, and then just bringing the weight forward. Hips don't square as much in single whip as they would in your pushes and stuff like that in normal bow stance. So that's the rooting aspect of it, okay? The cloud hands, I'll talk about the rooting aspect when we get to that. So from where we left off last week then, in the push, so as we do that turn to root in the left leg, the right hand comes down like you're holding the ball. We're then going to move across the centre to root into the right leg, and as we do so, the hands pass. Okay, now you're going to hook this hand. This one's going to come up as you go into your empty stance, and then you step in and out, and as you come forward, that hand turns to a push, and that's your single whip. Okay, so we'll break it down and we'll look at that, and then we'll look at the rooting in the waving hands like cloud section. So again, looking at it from here, the where we left off last week. So as we turn, we're holding the ball, right hand down, so the right foot's coming round. As we move across the centre, the hands pass, and then this hand will hook. We'll go in into this empty stance, and then we'll step in and out. This hand continues on out into a push as we come forward. That's your single whip turn. And just to come closer to the camera momentarily, just most of you have probably done a single whip before, but in case you haven't, just get a close up here. There's the hand position. It's like the thumb touching the two fingers, and it's as if that's just hanging over something there, so it's not stiff pressure like this. The hand's fairly relaxed. So as you can see there, that contact and with the fingers together. So there it is from another angle. Okay, so we'll do that one more time, and then we'll look at this step in sequence that's coming up. Okay, so from here, okay, so that's your single whip position. So what we're going to do here, so again taking it from the root up, to get into cloud hands, yet another hand toed position, you can see. And then we're going to root into this leg with the hips facing out this way and step in. Now in cloud hands, it's a step in sequence to the left. So the centre turns, the weight shift. It's not just you're shifting the weight from one leg to the other. The centre from being diagonal is going into the other diagonal, and then basically what you'll do is sink a wee bit lower into that right leg as you step out with the left, and then you'll bring the weight over across. Not just the weight, but you'll turn the hips over here, and then you'll step back up, sort of about half shoulder width roughly. I'm on a bit of a hill here, but what the hell. And then we'll turn over to the other side again. So there's, in short form, there's 2 cloud hand steps. Okay, and then it'll finish with coming back to here, and then getting into another empty stance, stepping in and out, and getting into another single whip. So it's basically single whip to single whip with 2 cloud hands in between. So if we're looking at that from the last position where we're in, which is the single whip, so coordination of the upper and lower body. So as we come round into the right leg, bringing the left foot round, this hand comes down like you're holding the ball. Okay, now what will happen is the hands will pass as you move across the centre, and as you can see, the hands sort of facing in towards the centre. Okay, so from here, okay, so on this side, you can see the hands facing in. Now what's going to happen is the hands are going to pass as I move across the centre. Okay, and then on this side, as I step out, the hands will pass and I'll move across the centre. So we step up, the hands will pass and move across the centre, and then again. Okay, so now when we get to this side, the hands will pass again. We'll come to here, we'll hook, this hand will turn like before that you did at the start of the section. You'll step in and out, and you'll finish with another single whip. So that stepping section, that stepping sequence, when you're learning cloud hands, you can do as many as you want, you know, just to get the practice. Okay, so we'll look at it from here, and I'll do a few extra steps just to show you. There are only 2 in the form. So come across to here, hands pass, across the centre, we step in, the hands pass, and we move across. Here, step out, the hands will pass, we'll move across with the hands facing in, and again when we step up, hands pass. So you get this nice flow going on as the hands are passing, we're stepping out, moving across, stepping up. So think of that continuous movement in the hands. Okay, and then when you get to the last one, just the way you started, that empty stance, step in and out, and then finally come forward into the single whip. So as I say, when you're learning as many of those as you want, just to get into the way of, because it's a unique move. Most of your moves have been forward and backward up until now. Now this is to the side. It's the only time in the form you'll do that. So I'm going to look at it then from just the single whip to the single whip again, and then we'll take it back to the push and we'll incorporate that first single whip turn. Okay, so let me do it from this direction first, and then we'll do it from the other way as well, so as you can see it from side on. So here's our first single whip. So as we move across, holding the ball, the hands pass, we move across the centre, so the hips diagonal, the hands will pass again, and we move over to here. Weight on the right, hips facing this way, so that's 1, and 2. Hands will pass, come to here, and like the beginning, go into an empty stance, step out, and get into your single whip again. Okay, so we'll just do that coming from another direction then. If we look at the single whip facing you, so as you can see it from side on. Okay, so there's the single whip facing you. We'll get back a wee bit. Here, hands pass, move across, step in, hands pass, move across. So your first step, one, moving across the centre, stepping up, hands pass, and second step, moving across, hands pass, get to here, go into the empty stance, step in and out, and finish up, single. Okay, so I'm going to go through that a few times then, okay? So a couple of times, once talking through the whole section, and then the next time in silence, and we'll start actually from doing it from this direction, okay? So we're going to start from the push, facing away from you. We're in the right hand push, the right foot push. So from here, turn, hold the ball, hands pass as we move across, hook, when they are empty stance with the hand coming round, step in and out, and then single whip. So from single whip, again, moving the ball, hands pass, we move across the centre and step in, and the hands pass again. So your first step to the left, hands pass, move across the centre, step up, hold the ball, hands pass. And then one more, step out, hands pass again, and then when you get to this point, you're getting into an empty stance, and you're stepping in and out, and that's single whip. Okay, so one more time with that in silence. Okay, so then from a different angle now, and again a couple of times. So the first time, talking through it. Okay, so there's your push, like you've ended up with last week. As we turn, right hand down, so we're like holding the ball, we've gone hand-toed, and then the hands pass as we move across the centre, hook, turn this hand to face you, step in and out, and there's our first single whip. Turn again, hold the ball, the hands pass, we step in, move across the centre, and the hands pass again. So that's one, step to the left, and two. And when we get to here, again the hands will pass as we're moving across the centre, but then we hook, just like the beginning of the sequence, step in and out, and we're back into our single whip again. So, one more time, from the push. Okay, so we're going to leave it for there till next week, and work away. This is all, again, we've covered this before, but we're looking at it just in slightly more detail now. Okay, so I hope all's well with everyone, and I will see you all next week. Hello folks, and welcome to the long form section. So as I was saying at the start of the video, we couldn't use a lot of some of the footage from the last video, so I'm going to go through basically the closing section, okay, in a wee bit more detail. So we're looking at it from the stepping up to 7 stars. This is where we left off, basically. The right hand underneath like this, empty stance on the ball of the foot. Okay, see, so if we're looking at the root in this first move, basically what we're doing is stepping back, turning the center diagonal as we move back, and then stepping in to another empty stance. Okay, so again, just from one empty stance to another. So we'll step back, turn the hips, and then square. Okay. So if we're looking at that then from stepping up to 7 stars. So we're here. As we step back, the hands will open and the right one will turn up like this. And then as we sit back, we separate. Okay, so this one stays directly out in front, this one comes to the side. And then when we go into our empty stance, left palm down, right hand up. Now this is very similar to the white crane opens its wings, except the hands are out slightly further, extended out, rather than being like this. So there's a subtle difference. It's very similar. Okay, so we're just looking at that from another angle. Okay, so there's our stance in the stepping up to 7 stars. So we open the hands, the right one turns up, step back, and then the hips turn as we do this separation. And then this move is called riding the tiger. Okay, so again, empty stance. So we'll do that and then we'll move it on through to the next section. Okay, I'll talk a wee bit about the routing of the next section before we actually go through it. So there's one more time from here. Here's your stepping up to 7 stars. And ride the tiger. So this is a move coming up called the bagua step. Okay, so there's a wee bit of work involved in it. It's like nothing you've done in the form, and it's like a 360-degree turn. So facing this way, going all the way around, facing this way again. So our last position was this, the empty stance. Okay, so here, just to show you the bagua step, pushing the foot out till it's 90 degrees, resting into it, bringing this one round. Okay. Now I said the last time the heel here should be more or less in line with the toes. Actually try and get it out a wee bit further than that for comfort. So when you root into this, try and get the heel out. So when you go into your empty stance, you've got that width of stance there, okay? So let me just show you that from another direction then, from straight on. So there's the stance we've finished with, and I'll do this from a couple of directions. Heel pushes out, sit back. This one goes round, so it basically does a 180-degree turn. And then root into that. Get this one out a wee bit wider, not quite in line with the toe, just a wee bit, so as when you turn, you've got your empty stance. Okay? So, bit of work involved in it, but you know, I know some of you have done it before, some of you haven't. So it's good to have a stab at it. It really relies on quite accurate balance when you get to that point in the form. So if we're looking at it with what's happening in the upper body, okay. So there's your position of riding the tiger. So there's not a great deal happening here. As you push that foot out, the hands come down and more or less stay like that. Okay, this foot does the turn, and then we bring our weight into that, step round, and then go into our empty stance. Okay, so if we just do that one more time, just from facing this way, just to show you. So there's our riding the tiger. There's the heel going out, so the foot's straight this way, sitting back, doing this big turn with the right foot, and then gradually bringing your weight into it, getting your balance, getting that foot out first, and then back. So you're back where you started basically, in terms of stance. So, coming up to the closing here. So the fun bit, when you get to there, so your last position is this. Okay? So there is a kick here. It's the final kick in the form, and then you're going to go into the section, the closing of the form, which is like the closing of part 1 and the closing of part 2. Okay? So there's our last position. So what you're going to do, this is a strange wee move with the foot. There's like a figure of 8, and the figure of 8 starts, and I do a wee circle up, complete that circle, come back, do another one, and then what I'm going to do is kick. It's like a roundhouse, like a swivel kick. Okay, so again, just to show you that figure of 8. So there's our position. So it's coming towards you. So it's doing, if it's an 8, coming towards you and then back. Sorry, coming towards you, going away from me. Okay, and then coming back towards me, away from me. So here, and then you keep this knee bent and just kick and then step down. That's what you're going to do to get into the next move. So from here, from the we'll take it from here, and then I'll take it back. So it's the heel going out and coming down, sitting back, turning this foot 180 degrees, gradually bringing your weight into it, stepping out, and then into here, and then from here, figure of 8, and then kick up towards the hands, and then step out. So when you step out, right fist at the centre of the chest, and the left one as if it's punching out into the diagonal. You will see this from another angle. And then we're just going to sit back, step, or shift the weight back, and then we're going to step into this, done the parry, the parry and push, and then the punch. Okay, and then this is like the end of parts 1 and part 2. Okay, so you finish. Okay, the only difference is it's close up rather than a parry close up. Okay, now you would have done this anyhow if you hadn't been going any further. In part 1 and part 2, you'd obviously finish with closing up, and then you just step back in, and you're back where you started. Okay, so if we just look at that from another angle, and then I'm just going to go through it a couple of times, finish. Okay, so if we just look at that from the bagua turn, that's what we'll do. So I'm in this position here, sorry. Okay, so here, heel going out, hands coming down, right foot doing a 180 degree turn, stepping out, and then get into our empty stance. And then here's the figure of 8, and the kick, and then that's the position there I was talking about where the hips are diagonal. This one going out towards there, this one at the centre of the chest. So we'll sit back, so this is the parry, diagonal parry, push, step through, and punch. And then the way you would at the end of parts 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm just going to go through that a couple more times, okay, just the entire thing, just this way. So first time talking through it, second time just doing it, okay. So we're starting from where we left off last week with the stepping up to 7 stars. are. So if you remember, hands open, step back, right palm turns up, we sit back, turn in the hips, and then we square the hips. So this is our riding the tiger. So there's the foot going out as the hands come down. Once we're rooted in the left, 180-degree turn to the right, and then slowly rooting into the right. Like this, so it's not in line with the toes, and then going into another empty stance, okay? And then from here, the figure of 8. And kick, stepping out, so the right hand at the chest, left hand punching out, and then that hand opens to sit back, goes to the shoulder, and then it's just like you do at the ends of parts 1 and 2. Same closing section. Okay, so one more time, and then we'll finish up. So just in silence this time. Okay, so we'll leave it there for this week, and next week we'll have a look at something to be a bit different for long form anyhow. So I hope all's well, and I know I'm seeing some of you recently, which has been great doing these 3 classes on a Tuesday morning, but hopefully see the rest of you soon sometime, and take care everyone, and all the best.